Welcome back to Afternoon Express.
It's time for us to go and have a chat with Dr. Fez about COVID-19 and underlying health conditions.
Absolutely, Nicole. We had an opportunity to sit down with Dr. Fez just the other day and find out more about COVID-19 with IMMUENZA. Watch this. The dangers of COVID-19 are undeniable, and for those with underlying health conditions or comorbidities, it can be a real cause for concern, as these underlying conditions could compromise the immune system and put those at a much higher risk of developing severe symptoms of COVID-19. We chat to Dr. Fezile Mkhize about the relationship between these comorbidities and how we could be protecting ourselves. We also have Nicole Austin joining me again in the loft today as a health correspondent. Thank you so much for joining us yet again. You know, it's been such a treat having you from the top of this month throughout, Nje, helping us break down our health.
Well, this is the time of the year where we reassess our health goals, and I think now more than ever.
Yeah.
So it's really great to be here talking being healthy.
Yep, and welcoming you back to the loft, Dr. Fez. Lovely to have you. But first and foremost, can we just discuss what is a comorbidity?
Comorbidity. So when you're speaking co, it usually means with, concurrent. So a morbidity is generally an illness or some sort of issue that a person has that is also there alongside something else that they may come along with. So when people generally will talk about comorbidities, they think about things that are non-communicable, so things that you can't transmit, so your hypertensions, your atherosclerotic diseases, so the diseases of the vessels, all that kind of stuff is what people would ask when they're going, do you have any other comorbidities, something that may put you at risk of something else?
Yes, Doctor, tell us, what are these specific comorbidities that put people at risk of developing more severe symptoms of COVID-19? And does it make you more susceptible to contracting the virus?
Trust Nicole to give me the hard-hitting question. No, so when it comes to illnesses, I mean, across the board, there's a number of things that could potentially make you have more severe symptoms. And that's generally because it may have an effect on your immune system or just the way your body responds to a virus. So when we're thinking about things that are airborne, respiratory-wise, when we're thinking about things like COVID-19, if it's somebody who has something like asthma, which is moderate to severe, that could put them at a higher risk of higher symptoms or more severe symptoms, rather. Or if you're thinking about things that could hit your immune system. In our case, very much apt in South Africa, is HIV. Things that are going to immunocompromise you, things like cancer, even diabetes, or kind of renal issues, kidney issues. So all of those things are things that you may already have that if you aren't controlling could make your kind of course or your time with COVID even worse because of the symptoms, because your body's really dysfunctional as it is trying to then also beat the virus. So it's not necessarily going to make you higher risk of contracting because we all take certain measures to make sure that that isn't the case, but it can make your symptoms far worse.
And on that note, if we were to just continue on that same thought process, Doc, can you please discuss with me how these conditions can increase then the severity of your symptoms?
So when you think about it, if it's something that's an immunocompromising illness, where all of them, to some degree, if you aren't treating them and on top of them, are going to give you some dysfunction, your body isn't able to mount the appropriate response. So if you are somebody who has HIV, who might not be on their medication, might not know, or might not be taking it as well as you should, you're already sitting at a back foot. And now you get hit with this illness where even people who have very good immune systems that are functioning well are taking time to recover, and it's kind of a protracted point of recovery. You can then have even more severe symptoms because you don't have that basis to work off of. And things like diabetes, where you have whole systems that are affected, also fall under that umbrella. So it's always being cognizant of, like, if I have something, making sure that I've optimized myself so I can best move forward in life.
Doc, for those with these specific underlying conditions or somebody in their family with these underlying conditions, what is the best way to improve and even boost recovery from COVID-19?
So it's always about trying to work with whichever medical team that you're with. One, it's always good that everybody kind of knows if you have something that you are taking medication for or trying to treat. And then also making sure that you're on top of it, doing the best possible kind of management course that you can to make sure that you are optimized. So when we say optimized, you're not just not feeling sick or feeling any symptoms, but you are actually living a very healthy life. You're boosted and you're on top of it. And in so doing, then you at least are putting yourself onto kind of a good front to be able to handle anything that may come your way. Because at the end of the day, things like COVID are very high risk in terms of infectivity. And that's why it's been such an issue. So always putting yourself in the best possible position.
Absolutely crucial, absolutely key. Thank you so much, Dr. Fezile. It's always such a pleasure touching base with you, especially when we need to debunk some of the myths and misunderstandings one might have around having underlying conditions and, of course, COVID-19.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, guys. Always a pleasure. I feel like this dynamic duo makes me feel very comfortable.
Very comfortable, very safe indeed, as we do want to hope that the rest of South Africa is. Having you here, Nicole, has made it that much more valuable throughout.
This is the dream team, baby. Loving being here. And Fez, it's incredible to hear your perspective out there on the front line.
Now, Mzansi, officially, let us bring it home. Do you have a survival story? Then we really want to hear from you. Share your survival story with us, from surviving a failed parachute to escaping a lion attack. We want to hear your story. IMMUENZA is giving away 5,000 Rand a week for 5 weeks. All you have to do is reply to the IMMUENZA competition post on the Afternoon Express Facebook page or Twitter page and tell us your survival story and what protected you using the hashtag IMMUENZA. Competition closes tonight at midnight, and terms and conditions can be found on afternoonexpress.co.za. Help support your immune system for your next big adventure with IMMUENZA.